Welcome to another episode of Strange Death, where the shadows whisper and death arrives in the strangest ways. But first, drop the intro.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
This afternoon, about those umbrellas that many people use on the beach to shade themselves from sun. One of those is now being blamed for killing this woman on a Virginia beach yesterday.
On June 6, 2016, in Virginia Beach, Virginia, the universe apparently decided that subtlety was overrated and irony was the best seasoning for tragedy. That day, 55-year-old Lottie Michelle Belk met her end not by the usual suspects: heart disease, car crash, natural disaster, but by a rogue beach umbrella. Yes, an umbrella. One of those cheery, colorful parasols designed to protect people from the sun's judgmental glare. Except this one had other plans. Caught in a sudden gust of wind clocking in between 20 and 25 miles per hour, roughly 32 to 40 kilometers per hour for the metrically inclined, the umbrella was violently plucked from the sand like a javelin of doom. It transformed from sunshade to skyborn assassin in a matter of seconds. It then impaled Ms. Belk in the chest, because apparently Mother Nature had a flair for the theatrical that day. Eyewitnesses reportedly watched in stunned horror as the umbrella, now a weaponized projectile, turned a relaxing day at the beach into a scene that wouldn't look out of place in a Final Destination movie. One moment, seaside serenity. The next, sudden death by patio furniture. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but the damage was already done. Lottie Belk died shortly after the impalement, proving once again that no amount of SPF can protect you from freak accidents and life's darkly comic sense of timing. Beachgoers were left traumatized. The wind eventually calmed down. The umbrella, probably now sitting in an evidence locker somewhere, remains the world's least suspect murder weapon. And Lottie Belk's name joined the short but unforgettable list of people killed by inanimate objects that weren't even trying. Michael Colombini was just 6 years old, a bright-eyed kid from the peaceful suburbs of Croton-on-Hudson, New York. He had recently undergone surgery to remove a benign brain tumor. It was supposed to be the start of his recovery, the kind of story that ends with crayon drawings on the fridge and a celebratory trip to Chuck E. Cheese. But instead, Michael's life took a hard left turn, directly into the realm of, "Are you freaking kidding me?" It was July 2001. Michael was still groggy from anesthesia, tucked into an MRI machine at Westchester Medical Center for a routine follow-up scan. Routine, of course, being one of those words that sounds comforting right up until a missile-grade oxygen tank turns the room into a game of real-life Final Destination. See, MRI machines don't just take pictures, they come equipped with magnets so powerful they make fridge magnets look like a joke. These machines can suck in metal from across the room with the force of 1,000 angry gym bros. Enter the steel oxygen tank. Thanks to a lapse in protocol, or as the hospital might call it, a brief moment of catastrophic idiocy, someone wheeled a metal tank into a room where metal absolutely should not go. The MRI magnet grabbed that tank like a vengeful god reclaiming an offering and hurled it across the room at approximately 30 miles per hour. That's school zone speed. Except this wasn't a school bus. It was a flying steel torpedo. The tank struck Michael in the head, causing fatal injuries. In an instant, the room went from sterile medical calm to a tragic horror show no one could scrub clean. The event was so shocking, even seasoned doctors reportedly stood in stunned silence. The hospital quickly accepted full responsibility, because let's be honest, there's not much room for finger-pointing when you've accidentally turned a child into collateral damage during an MRI. Edward Stolzenberg, the hospital's CEO at the time, issued the kind of solemn apology that sounds sincere until you realize it came wrapped in a lawyer-approved press release. He called it a terrible and tragic error, which is technically accurate, though a bit light on the our bad scale. Michael's funeral was attended by over 500 people. His kindergarten teacher remembered him as a fun-loving, energetic kid, the kind of child who should have been drawing dinosaurs with crayons, not becoming a cautionary tale for MRI safety training videos. The incident sent shockwaves through the medical world and became a grim reminder that even cutting-edge technology can be deadly in the hands of people who apparently skipped Magnet Safety 101. Hospitals around the country reviewed their procedures, while Michael's family was left to grapple with a loss so senseless it bordered on surreal. So, next time you hear the phrase routine medical scan, just remember, for Michael Colombini it was anything but. And maybe keep the metal objects way outside the MRI room, unless you're into high-speed impalement. On March 16, 2002, Brittany Nicole Cecil was living every 13-year-old hockey fan's dream. Rinkside seats to watch the Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Calgary Flames, a birthday gift from her dad. Just 2 days shy of turning 14, she probably thought the worst thing that could happen was watching the Jackets blow another lead. Tragically, fate had other plans, far worse and flying at 80 miles per hour. With just over 12 minutes left in the second period, Blue Jackets player Espen Knutsen fired off a shot. It was the kind of puck you'd expect to bounce off a goalie's pad or a fan's overpriced nachos. Instead, it clipped Flames defenseman Derek Morris's stick, which turned it into a guided missile with one unlucky target, Brittany's left temple. The puck cleared the glass because back then, safety netting in hockey arenas was considered optional, like flossing or empathy, and hit her in the head. Hard. The game went on because no one noticed. That's hockey for you. 2 minutes for high sticking. No penalty for accidental headshots to the audience. Brittany, tough as nails, walked herself to the first aid station, possibly more concerned about missing the rest of the game than the gash on her forehead. She was taken to Columbus Children's Hospital by ambulance, where medical staff noted that, aside from the cut, she seemed okay. But the human body, like NHL defense, can be deceptive. She had a seizure not long after arriving at the hospital. Still, by the next day, she seemed to be on the rebound, walking, talking, and probably wondering how long it would take before she could turn this into a badass story about the time she got smoked by a puck and lived to tell it. Unfortunately, a CT scan had missed a critical detail: a torn vertebral artery, slowly turning her brain into a no-go zone. By March 18th, things took a sharp and tragic turn. She spiked a fever, lost consciousness, and passed away at 5:15 p.m., just 2 days before her 14th birthday. And in classic NHL fashion, it took a teenager dying in the stands for someone in a suit to say, "Hey, maybe we should do something about the whole flying puck situation." After a few months of committee meetings and coffee-fueled soul-searching, Commissioner Gary Bettman ordered every NHL arena to install protective netting above the glass behind the goals. Because nothing says we care like doing the bare minimum to prevent another kid from getting a puck lobotomized into her skull. The new nets went up. Fans complained about obstructed views. But nobody died watching hockey after that. So that's progress? Rest in peace, Brittany. You deserved a slapshot-free birthday.
Thanks for watching this episode of Strange Deaths. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, death doesn't RSVP. It just shows up, usually at the worst time. I'd say stay safe, but let's be real. When it's your time, it's your time.